Hello, Dr. Karen here, and welcome to this week's Spiritual Medicine Digest, where the topic is letting go of attachments, and particularly attachments to form. I'll share a little bit later what I mean by that. But if you're new to my channel, would love you to hit the subscribe button and perhaps the notification bell, so every time I do a new video, you will be notified. So this week's topic is around letting go of attachments. Well, let me tell you a funny story. When I was a kid, my mom used to get really kind of disappointed and upset with me because I would get frustrated and have a little temper tantrum, kind of a mild temper tantrum compared to what you see on YouTube these days, where I would just be kind of upset and grumpy when there was a change to any itinerary. So I was very attached to whatever my parents said was going to happen that day, whether it would be, oh, we're going to watch your ballet recital, or oh, we're going to go to the store and get to go shopping for a toy, or whatever it was. And when that didn't happen, I would get into Miss Grumpy mode. Fast forward, I realized that that attachment had to do with fear. Fear that somehow I would lose control of my life, somehow that I wouldn't be safe, or that I wouldn't get what I desired or wanted. Now, my parents did everything they could to get me what it is I wanted, so why the fear? Maybe it's trans-dimensional, based on alternate timelines. Maybe it's ancestral. There were a lot of things related to my ancestry that would definitely, put me in a state of fear and inflexibility. But now I've realized that in letting go of what I think should happen, I'm experiencing much more peace and freedom. But it wasn't like an easy thing. It's like trying to change somebody's personality, you know what I mean? As I got more into being curious of what is it that I'm afraid of? Why is it that I want so much control? And then when I looked at that fear, and with love, then I could heal it, I could free it, and then I could be much more flexible. So one of my soul siblings recently said, "Oh, Dr. Karen, she's so laid back." And I thought, thank you so much. That is such a compliment, given where I've come from, where I was told I was stubborn and, you know, um, immovable and controlling and all sorts of other adjectives, right? So I am really glad to say that I am much more peaceful and much less attached to form. And so how do we let go of our attachments to form? Now, form means the way things we think should be, right? So for example, I'll give you an extreme example. So way back when I was working at the University of Ottawa as a summer student in the science department, and there was a security guard, Etienne, who's working there, and he was very convinced and, let's just say, very, very attached to having a girlfriend that looked like Kim Basinger. Now, for those of you that are as old as I am, you know who that is, right? So now Kim Basinger being a very haughty kind of woman, and Etienne being, well, let's just say not so much in the haughty department, at least not then. I was wondering, what is this guy thinking? Of course, I was being judgmental, but just hear me out. So he he was like, well, she's got to be 36, 24, 36. Okay. Now, if you're old enough, you know what that means, right? Boobs, waist, hips. And I said, Etienne, uh, okay, so you need this blonde 36, 24, 36. Oh, yes, absolutely. I said, and you're not going to be happy with anyone that does not match the description. He goes, well, I want Kim Basinger or someone that looks like Kim Basinger, and that's it. So that's an example of extreme attachment to form. So at that time, of course, I was still attached to form in many different ways, but at that time, I had the wherewithal to ask him. I said, okay, well, what if you met a really hot redhead? Okay, how would that be? And he's like, I don't know, because he was so attached to having a blonde girlfriend. Well, he didn't have any girlfriends at that point. And I said, well, what if it's a blonde, curly-haired hottie who's like, 38, 25, 36? Is that going to be a problem? And he had to think about it. So here's the thing. The universe often knows what is more aligned with our soul than we do. Our conscious desires sometimes do not match our soul's desire. And therefore, when we get really, really attached to form, how we think things should be, we can become very stubborn and also very inflexible and therefore unhappy because life is never matching what we think it should be. However, if we are able to let go of the form, knowing full well that we have our intention, we have our outcome that we desire, but the how of that outcome materializing is not up to us, it's up to the universe, because the universe knows the quickest, fastest, most efficient, and most amazing way to create that reality for us. For example, when I desired to have the ideal figure skating partner, I did a whole bunch of things based on the law of attraction and did all these exercises. And then I went to town just interviewing and doing trials with all these skaters, these male skaters. And none of them really fit the bill. And I was getting a little frustrated. And I was attached to them being a figure skater at a certain level, maybe a certain age group because of the adult figure skating pairs and all that kind of stuff. And I was getting nowhere. I pretty much had to give up. And in that giving up, I decided to pull some angel cards. I was really into those back then. And they kept saying the same thing. I was getting a little annoyed. The angel cards I kept pulling out said, "You're not really telling us what you truly desire." And I thought, I pulled up so many times the same set of cards. I said, okay, fine. I actually got a little annoyed. And I said, you want to know what I truly want? Okay, let me write it down and let me tell you exactly who I want. Yeah, kind of like that energy. And I was like, okay, I would like a man who's going to be my pairs figure skating partner. And by the way, you should, have him between 5'9" and 5'11", because that is the perfect height for a pair skating partner. Because I knew my coach was 6'4" and it was way too tall, right? And this other guy I did pairs with temporarily was like 5'4", same height as me, and it was a disaster. So I gave the height, and I said, oh, by the way, also make him kind of cute and hot and let's see, what else? You really want to know what I want? Okay, we need to look good on the ice. We have to have good lines, right? Like the universe knows what that means. You may not know what it means, but I know what it means. And so we have to look good together on the ice, and he has to have the same proficiency of skating as I do. And I thought, let's see if you can come up with that. Because I already knew a lot of the male skaters around the world, right? And I said, oh, and by the way, I'm not willing to move. So he's going to have to move here. Okay, well, that negates like all of Europe, right? All of the skaters I knew there. And I said, and yeah, let's make him my love partner at the same time. And then that took away a whole bunch of my other people that I knew, right, who were not heterosexual, right, in figure skating. And I thought, okay, universe, you really want to know what I want? I'm going to tell you because you're not going to be able to find this person. Ha ha ha. Right? But I just laid it out there. And I was like, well, okay, since we're asking, he needs to be good at chopping wood, or at least like chopping wood. Because I don't. Let's see, I have 5 acres of property. Oh, mowing lawn. He likes to mow the lawn. Yep. Likes to cook. Doesn't mind doing massages from time to time. Romantic, good with kids. Yeah, I just went off. I just went on this big long list, and I just thought, Okay, let's see what you come up with, right? So I was literally like, just like, here's what I desire. Now, what I didn't say was like, where he had to come from. I didn't say exactly like, what he had to look like, what color hair, what color eyes, I mean, I didn't do, or how much money he had to make, or, all that kind of stuff, right? But I was pretty specific, and I just thought, I don't think the universe is going to come up with this because I already had in my mind that there was no one in figure skating that matched that description in the entire world. But I was being facetious and I was being, slightly annoyed that I kept pulling these cards. So that's what I asked for. Wasn't that long afterwards, after I had let go of that, well, I don't know if I'm ever going to find this person, right? But I just put it out there in the universe, that I met my current husband, James. Now, he was not a figure skater. Let's talk about attachment to form, right? He was not a figure skater. In fact, he didn't figure skate at all. And I did not recognize him as the one that I had asked for, because I asked for a figure skater, right? So I kind of didn't really get the cues. But the universe, being as smart as the universe is, decided to make sure that I had a couple of friends that encouraged me. One said, hey, did you watch this movie called Cutting Edge #2? I said, oh, I didn't know there was a #2. She goes, oh, yes. It's about this inline figure skater surfer dude that becomes the love partner and skating partner for, the daughter of the first couple of the movie. And I thought, well, isn't that synchronistic? Because this guy I just met as a surfer dude and an inline skater. Huh, okay. Got my attention, right? My other friend said, oh, you need a younger guy. I'm like, he's 6 years younger. And she goes, so? My mom's like 8 years older than my dad, and they get along great. So I was like, okay, right. So I needed some pushing, some help. Come to find out, well, if I had been attached to this person being a figure skater, I would never have had the beautiful relationship and multiple gold winning medal performances with my partner and my husband. So I got my outcome, but the way in which it manifested was completely different, because the universe is like, well, there's nobody in figure skating that matches your description, so we're just going to find this person who's an incredible athlete who's going to learn skating twice as fast as you, so that your 10 years of figure skating, he'll be able to catch up with you in a very short period of time, which he did. Great lines, perfect height, likes to mow, likes to cook, likes to chop wood, yada, 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 right? We always joke like, oh, I didn't say good with money, but I was not good with money either, right? So you can't really attract what you aren't, or you cannot vibrate. So that's our little running joke. Anyway, so I was able to have manifested exactly what I desired, but I had let go of the form, well, to some degree, right? I wanted them to be figure skaters. There's no question about that. But how that turned out was completely different and completely unpredictable from what I had thought. So for us to let go of the attachment to form of how it's supposed to manifest and just know, here's the outcome I desire, and we just pick and choose from what's in front of us, what's the next best thing to do in that alignment. Then that gets us to where we desire to go with so much less stress. So when we come to things in our lives where we maybe get upset that someone leaves us, or something changes. We get a contract and then we lose the contract, or somebody promises this one job and then it's no longer there, or whatever it is. Nowadays, instead of fighting against it and resisting that change, I just kind of go, oh, okay. Can't wait to see what happens, this is going to work out even better than before, and just trusting the universe in that. So I've come a long way in that. Love to help you do the same. Now, it's not going to be an overnight thing, but first of all, number one, you need to desire to have that freedom of letting go of that attachment to form, because anytime we're attached, we get very resistant to when things don't work out the way we think they should. So it gives you so much peace and freedom. You don't have to take my word for it. You can just intend to experience it for yourself if you desire. So we're going to do a TOLPAKAN Healing Activation today, and I'll just kind of channel through the different directives that come through me as we go into the still point together, so that so we can connect you more with that flow. You know, that freedom, that flow, letting go of form, letting go of attachments, so you can actually just be. And in your being and in that peace, it'll help attract, if you will, or co-create, materialize what it is you desire so much faster than if you're fighting, kicking, and screaming against what's already manifested. Yeah, it doesn't work. Been there, done that. Okay, so you ready? So if you'd like to receive this activation, just go ahead and just make the intention to receive the activation. Whatever's for your highest and greatest good to release or heal or shift will do so, and whatever is not ready won't, and so it's very safe. Just don't close your eyes if you're driving. So let's go ahead and get some energy moving in the body. So you can go ahead and rub your hands if you'd like, or stamp your feet, and just close your eyes if it's safe for you to do so. Just feel the movement in your fingers or wherever it is that you just moved, and just see if that movement goes anywhere. This is what we call stillness through observing internal movement. It's kind of my alternate for sitting meditation, because it only takes seconds to feel energy or movement in some part of your body. Okay, so just continue noticing where that movement is, and I'm going to speak some directives, and you might notice a shift in your body as I do so. Here we go. I now command that anything's preventing you from fully letting go of the attachment to form of whatever it is you desire to manifest be clean, cleared, and healed in the highest and best way, all directions of time, with speed, ease, and grace. Thank you. I now command that the resistance to what is be deleted, dissolved, and uncreated, and all unwillingness and resistance energy be deleted, dissolved, and uncreated to the best of what's possible now in the highest and best way, all directions of time, with speed, ease, and grace. It's now commanded that whatever is preventing you from being fully open to all positive possibilities happening be healed now with ease, speed, and grace. It's now commanded that the positive morphic field of trust, both self-trust and trust in the universe, be downloaded and activated with ease, speed, and grace in the highest and best way. Is now commanded that the positive morphic field of non-attachment be downloaded and activated with ease, speed, and grace in the highest and best way, all directions of time. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So just go ahead and notice the body again. Notice if you've had any shifts in the way the energy or the movement feels in the body. It doesn't matter if you do or don't, just interesting to notice. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Now, there are a lot of other activations that you could do for yourself. This is part of my TOLPAKAN healing method. And by the way, we do have a mini healing group session coming up absolutely free in the Light Warrior, sorry, in the Light Medicine community. I'm ahead of myself here. And I'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. So would love for you to put some comments below. Let me know how that activation felt, whether you got any ahas, and perhaps even a self-evaluation of how attached have I been to form, meaning how attached have I been to things happening the way I think they should happen, and how willing do you feel now that the universe can gift you a better form, something you do not expect. So put that in the comments below. I'd love for you to share that with me. Some announcements. The Light Warrior radio show, I think you're really going to love. It's with Michael Hobson, and he is the founder of 𝗥𝗚𝗚𝗢 Springs. Now, the interesting thing is we really talked more about everything to do with water and less about his product, which is really fun because Michael really, really is into water. He's a water researcher. He's been on several different kinds of summits and conventions about water. He knows every big name in water known to man, as far as I can tell. And we had this delightful conversation about water, about what is structured water, why there's silica in the water, how to program water, what does that all mean? To the things that he shared with me was like a big aha, was like, did you know that the earth crust actually makes water? Like, you do not have to have it coming from rain. Did not know that. I also didn't know that our bodies can actually make water. Yeah, mind blown, right? Anyways, really cool conversation. We had a ton of fun. I'll put that link below so you can check out that podcast that's airing Monday at 12 noon. And we have some announcements as well. Earlier I said Light Warrior because Light Warrior Training Camp is happening in July 14th through 19th in Lake Claire. And it is a beautiful, amazing place with a sacred lake vortex. And hope you don't get upset with me, but it is probably the last one in North America. So I got some guidance around that. And so it's very, very special. Our last one in North America that I am currently aware of. um, I don't know, is Hawaii in North America? I'd like to have one in Hawaii. Anyway, so the last one in North America. And it's a small group of people who desire to activate and harness their superpowers. So whether we're talking about transformational telepathy, distance remote healing for a family member, changing the weather, all the different kinds of skills that we talk about in the Sensitivities or Superpower book. Here you get to practice them and you have me to help you fully activate them. We're going to do a lot of little mini healings and a special session of timeline jumping and phototherapy patching in advanced sacred geometric ways. Let's put it that way. So there is an early bird discount through May 31st, so definitely, especially if you're new to my tribe and interested in meeting in person, training in person, this is your chance to do it in North America. So May 31st is the finish line for the early bird, and I'll put that link below that you can apply, and then you can decide whether you want to room with someone, have a shared room, single bath, all that kind of stuff. So lots of different variations. It's a beautiful place and very peaceful place to stay, and you deserve it. You deserve kind of a holiday, don't you? Okay, let's see what else we have here. Oh yes, cracking the chronic illness code, ticks, toxins, and mold telesummit is in full swing, and my particular telesummit interview, which is called Restoring Your 7 Boundaries for 360-Degree Wholeness, is airing on, let's see, looks like April 12th. Sorry, May 12th. May 12th. At 10 a.m. So you can actually subscribe to the summit for free. Make sure you watch that important interview at 10 a.m. on Sunday, May 12th. And of course, if you can't and you like some of the other topics, you can certainly, purchase the package to get all of the interviews. Lots and lots of really great speakers in the summit. And this is one of the few summits that I've actually said yes to because I really liked the interviewer and her mission. So check that out, and I hope to see you in the Light Medicine community so you can tell me how you like it. Tuesday, we have our mini group mini healings, activations. So how it works is if you're part of the Light Medicine community, you have some links that you can check in, let us know what's going on with you. You'll be placed in a 24-hour healing basket, actually. So your source team, my source team will go to work on doing some mini healings for you, with you, not just during that hour-long session, but throughout that 24 hours. So it is one of the most popular things that we have in the Light Medicine community. So I hope that you can be there live. I'd love to interact with you. Last but not least, there's a really cool interview that my good friend Lisa Werner just produced with me. She has a show called Soul Stories. And she said, I just want you to tell your story, like how you grew up, how you became who you are. And I thought, well, how much could I say? Well, it went on a little longer than I expected because I was all full of things. So you will get to find out a lot more about Dr. Karen than you probably ever thought you'd find out. Lisa held the space, and she just let me talk about my past, about how I grew up, about my culture. So if you were ever curious to learn more about me, this is the interview to watch. So we'll put that link below as well, so you can watch it at your leisure. So that is it for announcements this week. Thank you so much for joining me here. Remember to hit subscribe and also some comments. Let me know how you liked this week's activation, and I will see you next week. Lots of love.